Hello, everyone. Derek Floyd here, Beautiful Now Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Chasing the Impossible. This is the segment where I interview special guests who happen to have accomplished impossible things along the way to let you know no matter what you're chasing, no matter how far that dream seems off, if you can dream it, if you can see it, then you can accomplish it too. And if you like this kind of content, do me a favor right quick. Put a big pause. Hold on right now. Hit me with a like or subscribe to the channel. This lets me get the most updated content to you as soon as it's available. And most importantly for me personally, if you really enjoy the content you watch here, please share it with a friend, because I want to make sure everybody leaves uplifted, encouraged, and inspired. Now, my special guest just happens to be an aspiring young country artist who's been working in the industry for quite a few years in Nashville. But she started writing songs when she was only 7 years old. But now she's a singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and producer. And she's been around the game a little while. She's got something to... Alyssa Trahan. Are you there, Alyssa?
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
You know, I am ready to get through the rest of this week, man. Working hard already, you know? It's what we do.
Yes, I feel that.
Working hard. But glad to have you here on the segment. Been looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I'm super excited to be here.
And we met at NAMM in Nashville. How many weeks ago, right?
We did. Yeah, that feels like, let's see, it was probably like 4 weeks ago, maybe?
It feels like a year ago. Because like...
It does. It does. I have no sense of time anymore.
To meet you, and I'm so excited you decided to take some time and share a little bit of your story with the subscribers today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
So let's go ahead and dive right in. You know, you have been a country singer for quite a long time, but it's a short spell because you're young. And I'm going, you've been around for years, and since you were a teenager, right?
Mm-hmm,
so
yeah.
Was music always like the one and only true passion, or did you have like a backup plan to be a dentist or something? Where were you looking for?
Definitely not a dentist, because I'm terrified of the dentist. But no, music has really always been like that thing for me ever since I was really, really little. I mean, probably like 7 years old. I knew I wanted to be in music somehow, but I didn't always know that, you know, you could do that as a career. And I was writing songs in my head ever since I could think, really. And I kind of thought everyone did that, just like made up little melodies and words and just like little songs. I thought everyone did that, and it was completely normal. And found out when I got older that it wasn't so normal, and not everyone does that. And then I, realized I was writing songs, and everything just kind of snowballed. But music has always been that thing. And even today, I really don't have a backup plan. It's this or
is there
this.
nothing.
So.
This or bust.
Yeah.
So here you are, little 7-year-old Alyssa, writing songs where your folks like, what are you doing over there? Or they're like, oh, just come play on the piano. Did they take it seriously, or did they know something was different?
I think they knew. We did have a piano in our living room that I would like make up little songs on, and I would play them while like my parents were cooking dinner and stuff. And I think they realized that I had the music bug, I guess. And I don't know if they knew how serious I would take it, and that I would one day move to Nashville and really just do the thing, as they say. But I think they knew. I think they knew something was up.
Wow. And when did they go, okay, let's put her in some music classes, or let's get her started on something? Or did it just happen naturally on your own, like you did it on your own?
It kind of happened naturally. I was in, chorus and band in school as soon as we were allowed to. So I remember the day that we were allowed to pick our instruments for band and audition to be in chorus. I was there. I was like, I want to do this. Anything that was music related in school, I was a part of. I was a dancer for a really long time. So I really just kind of naturally fell into the music stuff and everything. So I wouldn't say they pushed me or anyone pushed me. I kind of pushed them to be like, hey, I want to do this. Hey, I'm going to do this. And I was just always so, attracted to the music.
Wow. So fast forward here, you're rocking out. You're like 16, 17. I'm going to do this music thing. And most of the musicians and singer-songwriters I talk to always talk about the circuit and how hard it is to like play every venue. Because once you figure out you're going to do this, you got to get heard. You got to get found. So you play anywhere and everywhere, like bar mitzvahs and somebody's birthday
Yep.
party and the gas station down the street. You play everywhere because you gotta get seen. Excuse me. So how did that prepare you for the rat race in Nashville?
Yeah, I really did play everywhere and anywhere that would have me, I would play. It definitely helped me figure out how to perform and how to be on stage and, how to sing my original music in front of people. And it really just it got the ball rolling for me. I mean, as soon as I started playing music, even to just these little coffee shop crowds, I knew I wanted to do that for my whole life. It was just something about being on stage. It felt right. It felt like home, no matter what stage it was. And it really snowballed everything. And it definitely got me ready for Nashville because, of course, a lot of people, including myself, do the Broadway thing where you play on the bars like every day, multiple times a day. And I did that for a bit. And yeah, it just really gets you ready to do it. It's like practice, I guess.
And that's a hard life. My brother is actually a singer-songwriter as well, and he's played the circuit. You got to play like different little places, and you get like a 30-minute spot, and then you go to the next one. Like there's a bunch of them along the way, and that's a tough road to hoe. So, kudos to making it through that space and figuring out you're going to stick with it.
Thank you.
But in between all that time, you're a multi-instrumentalist, so you play a bunch of instruments. How'd you find time to learn a bunch of instruments, and which ones do you play?
Yeah, so I started playing, like I mentioned, in school and like elementary school and stuff. I would play in band and chorus and things. So I learned those instruments like silver flute and Irish flute and saxophone and stuff like that in school. And I learned piano when I was younger by ear, and my dad taught me guitar. And the reason I started learning all the instruments I know now is because I started recording my own music when I was really young. And, I would start doing these tracks and I would think, for example, oh, I really want a mandolin on this. And especially back then, there were not any good sounding, like fake mandolin sounds, I guess, if you will.
I don't think
And
there were at that time.
no. And being in upstate New York, I didn't know any mandolin players, any country mandolin players. So I was like, okay, I really want mandolin. How am I going to do this? So for some reason, my brain was like, hey, let's just do it ourselves. And I would ask my dad to get me a really cheap mandolin, just like, like $50 or something. Just get me the cheapest mandolin you can find. And I would teach
Wow.
myself to play it and then put it on the track I was working on. And that's how I learned to play a lot of the instruments I play now. All the instruments I play guitar, piano, mandolin, ukulele, a little bit of bass, silver flute, Irish flute, piccolo, penny whistle, alto sax. Am I missing anything?
Are you for real? Like you actually play all those instruments? For
Dobro,
real?
a little bit of dobro, a little bit of slide.
Now, when
I'm
you
just
say
looking
play,
around.
do you say you're proficient on them, or do you play enough to get the job done on the track?
I would say every instrument is different. I definitely am strongest on like guitar, piano, flutes that I play. I'm definitely strongest on those. And the other stuff, I'm pretty strong on mandolin and ukulele as well. And the other stuff, I'm definitely still getting to the pro level, I guess you could say. But I'm a major perfectionist, so I don't put something on a track unless it sounds really great. So,
Nice.
I mean, I will practice a part for hours on end until I get it right. And I mean, I like to think I can play them pretty well, but I probably can't stand up to like, the pros that are playing down in the
Yeah,
studios
those
here in
Nashville
Nashville.
players are beasts, man. They're brutal.
They're like not human. They're so good. I'm not quite that level, but
They're brutal. They're brutal for sure. But now I understand. Not only are you a singer, a songwriter, a multi instrumentalist, but you went to audio engineering school on
I
top of all
did.
that. When did you
I
find even
did.
time to do that? Talk to me about that.
I don't sleep very much, but so when I was still living in upstate New York in Rochester, I knew I wanted to move to Nashville, but I wasn't quite ready. It wasn't quite possible yet. So it had always been in the back of my mind that, I was going to go to college. It's kind of like the thing they tell you to do when you're a kid. And my initial plan was to do like a 2+2 thing with the college that I went to in upstate New York. It's called Finger Lakes Community College. And then I was going to go to a school here in Nashville. But I did 2 years at Finger Lakes up in upstate New York. And yeah, I was in the music recording program, and I was one of the only girls in my class, which
I
was
bet
interesting.
you were. And you were killing
Um,
it like, yeah.
it's funny because I was like the Nashville person. So I would
Mm,
be out of school a lot because I'd be in Nashville doing stuff, and then I'd come back and then I'll be like, oh, how was Nashville? And then I would like implement the Nashville stuff I learned in my schooling, and they'd be like, we
nice.
don't do that here. And I'd be like, but it's the Nashville way. And yeah, so yeah, that was interesting. But
Wow.
yeah, it was super fun because I really got to further what I learned because I had
Mm,
taught myself to produce music when I was about 16 or so.
mm,
And, this just furthered that and really got me ready to move to Nashville. And it gave me experience in a studio. It gave me experience with all the gear and like microphones and patching stuff. And it really just helped me get ready for that side of things, not just being like inside my little space in my computer. But yeah, it was super fun, and I definitely use that education that I got quite a bit here in Nashville. So yeah.
So, you taking all that you've done, singer, songwriter, multi instrumentalist, audio engineer, were you thinking, "Hey, I'm going to get to Nashville and do it all myself," or what were you? What was your plan you were going to get here and do? Because I know it takes a long time to crack the Nashville space. It's not like a 5 minute thing.
Yeah, definitely not 5 minute. They call it a 10-year town, if that tells you
Hmm.
anything. So
Yeah.
um when I moved to Nashville, I don't know if I really had like a plan. I try not to really plan stuff too much because nothing ever goes according to plan, right? So I try not to get too stuck on like how I want things to go or how I think they'll go. But I
Hmm.
will say that when I first moved here, I didn't think I was going to end up doing it all on my own. Even though I had, gone to school, I knew a lot of the instruments. I still wasn't quite there yet and just wasn't ready. I was doubting myself a lot for a long time. But I kind of figured, I guess you could say, that I would move to Nashville and work with other people, work with other producers and writers and musicians. And I did for a bit. And, it's been great. I've met incredible people here, but I don't think I ever knew that I would, produce my own album, for example. I
Hmm.
don't think I knew that I would do what I do right now. I don't think I really ever saw it, but it's kind of interesting because I feel like everything happened the way it was supposed to, and it got me to where I am now. And I love doing things how I do them. I love producing. I love playing the instruments. I love really putting my stamp on everything and
Hmm.
taking that picture in my head of what I want something to be and making it come to life. That's always so rewarding for me. So
Sure.
yeah, I
Sure.
don't think I don't think I saw it on the horizon, but I think it was always kind of meant to be.
Well, you just said perfectly. You landed there 2016, got your first publishing deal in 2018, and I'm sure you were like, "Wow, like I really did it." But what was it? Was it what you dreamed about when you finally got the ink on the deal, or was it the moment you were hoping for?
It's interesting. It was really, really exciting that I signed a deal. And, all around Nashville, they tell you like your first deal, like it's not going to be the one. And I kind of didn't listen to them. I was kind of like, no, this is going to be the deal. Like I did it. I made it. This is it. And, at first, I think I was on a high from it. I was kind of like in the, I guess, like the honeymoon phase, if you will, of it. And it was great for a while, but it gradually over time, it kind of became clear to me that it wasn't home for me. It
Hmm.
wasn't where I was going to be long term. So it definitely was super exciting. I'm very grateful that that happened. I don't regret anything, and I learned a lot about myself through this deal.
Hmm.
And I'm still on good terms with everyone that was involved in the deal, so there's no like animosity anywhere or anything. But
Sure.
it definitely helped me really fine tune my path, I guess you could say, and fine tune who
Hmm.
I am as an artist and a writer and a producer, and really, I guess, steered me in the right direction.
Good way to think about it. Good way to think about it for sure. And through that time, the label puts you on the road. They put you in front of people. They have you opening for a lot of people at that time. I have here you open for Tanya Tucker, Sarah Evans, Josh Turner, Charlie Daniels. The list goes on. You probably played
Hmm.
hundreds of shows during that time. What do you think you learned most from being on the road with some of the best in the biz? What'd you learn?
I learned a lot. I really did. Watching those artists just work and do their thing on stage was just incredible. They really taught me how to perform on stage, how to put on a great show, how to keep the audience engaged. And also they taught me how things work behind the scenes and how you treat people behind the scenes. I have seen so many incredible artists and their teams just be the sweetest people and the most hardworking, amazing people backstage. And that has always stuck with me. Watching like Charlie Daniels be so kind to his crew and seeing his crew be so kind to me as just this little opening act that they've never heard of. That taught me so much, and that kind of thing sticks with you. Like I opened for Maddie and Tay recently, and they were so kind to me. Their whole team was so kind to me that
Nice.
I always just think if I get to that level that I have opening acts like this, I'm going to do what they're doing. I'm going to make sure that opening act feels welcome. They feel supported. They feel celebrated. And that feeling, it's so great when you open for someone, or even you just get to meet someone that you idolize like that, and you're kind of considered peers at that point. Just to be so welcomed by them it's incredible. And
Wow.
as I mentioned, I always say that I will be just like that if I ever get the opportunity to have openers like that. That's what I'm going to do. I want to make openers feel special, like they've made me feel special.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Carrying on that kindness. Kindness goes a long way, man. Long way.
It does. It really does.
So, you obviously have worked with everybody in the business. You've accomplished a lot in a short time. And it feels like you got to the pinnacle of what people would call success. You got the record deal, but then you turned away, or I said maybe made a left and broke away from the record label and went independent on your own. What made that decision happen in your mind? It felt like you got all the way there and then said, I'm going another way. What happened?
Yeah, it's funny because, like you say, a lot of people think, oh, once you sign the deal, like that's it, like you made it, that's it. And for me, the biggest thing was that we didn't really have the same idea of where I was going to go in my career. Like the songs I was excited about were not the songs they were excited about, and vice versa. They wanted me to go a direction that I didn't really want to go. And we just didn't really see eye to eye on stuff, and it just wasn't that perfect fit. And I really learned through that everyone says here in Nashville, you have to find your people, you have to find your tribe, your home. And that's so true, because if you are at a company that you're just not on the same page with, it's not going to end up being where you want to go. You know what I mean? So for me, it was, okay, I could stay here and I could keep on doing what I don't necessarily want to do and write music that I don't necessarily want to be writing for me as an artist. Or I could walk away, try it on my own for a bit, and just be the artist I want to be, put out the music I want to put out. And I definitely made the right decision for me. It's been, like I mentioned, just such like a growing experience, and I've really found my sound and really finally landed on this path that I want to be on. And it was a big learning experience, and I learned a lot of lessons that I think I needed to learn. Especially being such a newbie in Nashville. I mean, signing a deal
Sure.
within 2 years of moving to town is like unheard of.
That's insane.
I had people like messaging me saying like, you don't deserve that, and things like that.
Because
But
people sweat 5-10 years for that. So you in 2 years
yes,
was just insane.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, I get it, I get it. But yeah, it was a big lesson for me, and I don't regret it. Everything happens for a reason. I really believe that. But yeah, it just came down to not being on the same page.
I say this to people all the time. You got to find your peace. You got to know your peace. If you're not at peace with something and it's not working in your spirit, you got to move out of that space. No one's going to move you out of it. You got to get out of it. So That wasn't your space of peace. It could have been great to everybody else. It could have been a great trapping on the outside. Could have looked beautiful. Maybe made you tons of money. But if you weren't peaceful in that space, if it wasn't working in your inner peace, it's got to go, because you'll be doing it forever and be unhappy. So kudos to you for finding your peace and saying, nope, this ain't it. Even though it looks pretty on the outside, this was not the one. So good for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I always say too, like when people ask me advice for anything, on top of finding your peace, you have to be authentic. And if something is 100% authentic, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how successful you are. You're not going to be happy.
It's so
So
true.
that was a
It's so
big thing
true.
for me.
It's so true. And I think we've all met people that we thought maybe were wealthy or successful and they're unhappy. And you're like, well, you got all the stuff that everybody's asking for, but yet you're unhappy. You're right. Maybe they're not being authentic or they haven't found that piece. So kudos for
Hmm.
bringing that back out for sure.
Thank you.
Speaking of that, we're talking during the pandemic and through all this stuff that was going on, you were writing another record? Like,
Yes.
you're, in midst of all that, you're writing another record, Baby Blues and Stilettos. Wow. Debuted at number 9 on the iTunes country chart. Pretty amazing for an independent
Yes.
artist at that time. Wow. How hard was it just to get it without the label? Because you pretty much did it all yourself. A lot more work involved, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of work. I mean, the way that really happened is, I decided I was going to put out music myself independently, 100% independently. And the plan was to do a record, but the plan was to do it, I don't want to say the old fashioned way, but we were planning on going into a recording studio and working with a new producer and musicians and things like that. And we were getting the sessions booked and planning everything. And then the world shut down. And I was sitting right here in this chair in my studio. And I was just thinking, I promised my fans a record and I need to figure out how to make this happen because it's not going to happen the way I thought for I don't know how long. On that day, we had no idea how long it was going to go on. And I just remember I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like, I've always had that little voice saying, how cool would it be if we used our knowledge and our experience of music production and did our own album, did our own stuff? I've always done my own demos. I've always co-produced my stuff, but I've never fully produced my own record. I've fully produced other artists' records, but I've never done my own. Like I mentioned before, I was kind of doubting myself and too scared to do it. But the world shutting down really forced me to take that leap in a way, and it was tough. There were several times over that like year or so that I was working on it that I was thinking, I can't do this. I can't. I'm not capable. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I need help. And I would have to walk away from it for a couple days and then like revisit it and kind of let myself like come back around and be like, okay, it's going to be okay. You can do this. But I did it, and it was a very big, lengthy, tough process, but so rewarding. I grew so much as an artist, as a producer, especially, and it was just such a labor of love, I guess you could say. And yeah, doing it all myself was such like a I don't even know what to call it. It was such like a kind of soul searching thing, I guess you could say. Just truly finding myself and really being unapologetic about it. And back to that
Wow.
authentic thing, and just doing whatever the heck I wanted to do. If I wanted this weird
That's
sound
always
on a
empowering.
track, I was going to put it on there. And, it was so fun because I do have a team that I work with, even though I'm 100% independent here. And, I basically told them, hey, I want to try this myself. Do I have your blessing to try this myself? And they were all like, do it. Let's do it. Let's see what you got and go for it. And it somehow worked out.
And
And
you found your
yeah,
tribe, kind of, sort of. You got a tribe
I
that trusts you.
did. Yeah. I have
Yeah.
found some incredible people here in Nashville that are on the same page as me and want the same things as me. And yeah, when we released it in March. And I remember the day that it came out, like it came out on a Thursday at midnight. So like technically a Friday, but all day I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, it's coming out tonight. And when it came out and it shot up to number 9, I was watching it go up the charts. I was going to be happy with like
Nice.
top 100. I was like, if we get on the chart, period, I'm going to bawl my eyes out.
All
And
right.
I saw it go up to 9, and I was like, so many tears.
Wow.
It was just so incredible, and just the fact that you know I produced it myself. Like that was my baby, that was my child,
Wow.
and it was
Yeah.
just
And you saw your baby walk
such
for
an
the first
incredible
time.
feeling.
There you go.
I did. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that is an incredible story, even to be able to have come where you started and it was New York. You were at what was your town in New York?
East Rochester.
East Rochester. From all the way there to Nashville. starting songs at 7 years old to make it to producing your own record and go #9 on the country charts. Pretty powerful statement. So that means you stuck
It's
to it.
pretty
You
wild.
got through it all the way, man, and you made it happen. That is chasing the impossible for sure. That's what we do here. So great to hear how inspiring that story is. And if anybody's watching out there, she had to do it herself. Sometimes you got to do it yourself. Sometimes you may be the only person that believes in that thing. But if you believe in it, if you really believe that that's the thing you're supposed to do, then you got to do it. It'll make its way, right?
I agree 100%.
Because there'll be times when everybody doesn't understand. I've learned over time, especially people that I've met that are successful, they always say they meet a space where only they see the vision. Not everybody's going to see it the first time, second time, even third time around. But if you see your vision strong enough and you know it's real, you know it's the one you got to go with, you just got to go it. It'll make its way. Go with what you see.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
awesome,
100%.
awesome.
I agree.
And now, wait a minute. I also hear you're an actress too now. Come on. Singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, producer, and now you're acting. Is there anything that you can't do here? Come on, talk to me.
Yes, they're definitely, I can't do sports. But yeah, I do. I love acting too. I was doing a lot of acting when I was a kid. I was in, all the musicals and plays I could be in. I did a lot of they were called Broadway master classes where we got to work with people that were on the Broadway shows traveling through town. And I've been in a couple commercials and it's just fun. It's another fun artistic thing I like to do. Music is definitely first and always will be. But, if an opportunity came along that I could, act in, I don't know, a TV show or a movie or something, I think I would take it because it's fun. I like becoming a character and just taking on a part in someone else's story. I think it's really cool. But yeah, it's always fun.
Well, you are a Renaissance girl. Renaissance woman. You have done it all now, so you're showing us how to get her done. And with that whole frame of mind, I'll ask the one last question because it appears you've done a lot in a short time because you're young. You're a young girl, young lady. You're a young lady. And what would be the driving force that keeps you doing more now because you've accomplished so much?
Yeah. I mean, I love music so much and I love what I do so much. It's truly in my blood. And, they always say you don't choose music, music chooses you, which I really believe. And it's something that's in my blood. I can't not do it. I mean, even when I tell myself I'm going to take a break for a day or two or a week or a month, whatever it may be, like after I finished the record, I was like, I'm going to take a break. Nope. Didn't take a break, got right back into it with new stuff. It's what I love to do. It's who I am. It's what I am. It's just the only thing I want to do every day for the rest of my life. It's what I think about when I wake up. It's what I think about before I go to bed. It's what I'm always trying to learn more about. It's what I just always want to be doing. And it's what I enjoy. So it's truly just such a deep love and deep passion for what I do that keeps me going. And as long as I'm able to survive and make my music, that's all I want in life. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people have these of course I have big dreams too. They want to be on the big stages and do all the cool things. And of course I want to do that too. But when it comes right down to it, I just want to make my music and live my life.
Pretty simple words. I'll take them. I'll take them. Well, you have been a delight on the program. We should thank you for just taking a few minutes to share a little bit of your story, which truly is inspiring. And for all of you people out there that are thinking, can I accomplish something like that? Well, look what just happened. She did. She can make it happen, so you can make it happen too. Alyssa, how do they find you if they want to contact you or see a show, or how do they find out what you're doing?
The best place to go would be my website, which is just alyssatrahan.com. But I'm all over the internet. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm on TikTok now. I don't really know how to use it, but that's where all the cool kids are, I'm told. So I'm there. All my music is on Spotify and Apple Music and anywhere you can get your music. And I'm constantly playing shows, and I would love to see someone at a show. And I love talking to people online, too. So send me a message or something on Instagram.
There you go. Put a big DM on Instagram. Say hey to Alyssa for me. Say, hey, I saw the program on Chasing the Impossible. Wanted to say hey. She'd appreciate that, right?
I would. Yes, absolutely.
Well, thanks a lot for taking the time with us. We really do appreciate it. And, I just want to say to all the subscribers out there that watch the program, thank you for taking the time to spend with us. If you enjoyed this kind of content, do me a favor and share it with a friend. Make sure someone else knows Alyssa's out there making the music and you can do it too. And as always, we look forward to seeing you again at the next Chasing the Impossible. Have a great one, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.